Welcome back to Home Video, this is James. We all know who Christopher Reeve is, and we all know who Robin Williams is. They're two big stars in Hollywood. But what you may not know is they're actually best friends in real life, and there's actually quite a touching story that goes along with their friendship. Studying at the Juilliard Acting School in 1973, the two would eventually become roommates and best friends. Each of them built their career in their own way. Christopher Reeve had supporting roles up until his breakout performance as Superman in 1978.
It's Superman. Superman, the movie.
And Robin Williams did stand-up comedy for a while, but eventually landed the role in Good Morning Vietnam, which earned him an Oscar nomination and winning the Golden Globe.
Good morning, Vietnam!
In the early days when they were students, Robin Williams couldn't really afford a lot, and Christopher Reeve would help him just basically buy food and provisions and things like that. On May 27, 1995, Reeve's life would change forever. Christopher Reeve unfortunately had a horseback accident. He was taking part in an equestrian competition because he was an avid horse rider. When he was riding his horse Buck, he jumped the first two fences in the course and he was riding up to the third, but for some reason got to the last fence and the horse refused to jump and then just suddenly stopped. Reeve was thrown from the horse. His hands somehow got tangled in the reins and he landed head first on the far side of the fence. He was paralysed from the neck down and had to undergo quite a dangerous surgery.
His spinal cord is damaged, but in continuity. It has not been cut in half.
Doctors sometimes refer to this injury as the hangman's fracture. He could no longer breathe on his own and unfortunately needed a ventilator and obviously a wheelchair. Apparently while in hospital, Christopher Reeve had really bad thoughts. Obviously he was in a really bad state and his mental state was deteriorating rapidly. At one point he even thought about asking the doctors to pull the plug on himself. Apparently in a very bleak moment while Christopher was laying in bed, in hurried a man with a blue scrub hat and a yellow surgical gown and glasses speaking in a Russian accent. He announced that he was Christopher's proctologist and that he had to inspect his rectum immediately. It turns out it was Robin Williams dressed as a doctor and he was reprising his role from the character in 9 months.
Okay, let me get it ready for you, just... Okay, think we've worked out all the insects. Giddy up.
Christopher Reeve broke out in laughter, and this was the first time that he'd laughed since his accident, and his good friend Robin helped him realise that somehow he knew that it was going to be okay.
He came here to Kessler one afternoon and just... Thank God I wear a seatbelt in his chair because I would have fallen out laughing. It's made in the middle of a tragedy like this, in the middle of recuperation, you can still experience genuine joy and laughter and love. And anybody who says life's not worth living is totally wrong, totally wrong.
Unfortunately, in 2004, Christopher Reeve died of heart failure at the age of 52. After Reeve's passing, Williams dedicated his award at the Golden Globes to his old friend.
Also a very, very special person tonight. I dedicate this award to a memory of a friend of mine. Chris Reeve, I miss you. And I also say, may flights of angels sing thee to thy rest, sweet prince. Good night.
Robin Williams suffered from depression and anxiety, and upon hearing that he had onset dementia, he unfortunately took his own life in 2014.
I just wanted us to be old together. Those two old farts laughing at each other as our bodies fell apart. Together at the end, by that lake in your painting. It was our heaven, see?
Christopher Reeve was lucky to have a friend like Robin Williams. Robin Williams is a fantastic comedian. Mrs. Doubtfire, Good Morning Vietnam, Jack, Dead Poets Society, Good Will Hunting, The Genie from Aladdin, the list goes on. I think by visiting Christopher Reeve at the hospital on that day, Robin Williams proved that comedy isn't just for the movies. Comedy has a way of pulling you out of the darkest of darkest places sometimes.
I can be in the dumps for a couple hours and then find a new way to look at it and pull out. So my recovery time's a lot quicker than it used to be.
No matter how far down you get, no matter how far down you might think you are, sometimes comedy really can mend a broken heart.
And the human race is filled with passion, beauty, romance, love. These are what we stay alive for.